Ball Super. Beerus is trash, and Beerus is the OG black character because everybody says Piccolo is black, but half of Piccolo is Kami, and Kami means God, right? Obviously, God in human form slash God is Jesus, and Jesus was either Middle Eastern or black because majority of the people in the Bible are Middle Eastern or black, but majority of them are Middle Eastern. A small amount, 25% of them are black, right? So Jesus is either black or Middle Eastern, right? Even though majority of sources state he's Middle Eastern. And when I say Middle Eastern, I don't mean the country, I mean the race. But basically, Jesus was Jewish. Now, majority of Jews in the Bible 2,000 years ago are Middle Eastern, but majority of Jews nowadays are half white Middle Eastern. And the Sphinx's noses were big before they were cut off, like Latinos, Jews, mixed with whites, mixed with Middle Eastern. And when I say Jews, I mean their religion is mixed because majority of Jews now are half white, half Middle Eastern. They practice the Jewish religion, even though you may catch here and there a small amount of blacks and whites practicing the Jewish religion, right? And Jews have big noses because they're part Middle Eastern. Middle Eastern people have big noses, but their big noses are pointy, unlike blacks, which have round noses, right? And according to iShow Speed Stream and Cat Williams' podcast with Joe Rogan, the Sphinx were made by black people. Obviously, the name Sphinx comes from the Sphinx cats because the ancient Egyptians were black and they created statues of cats, but they worshipped them and they're human kings. So Sphinx is ancient Egyptian king mixed with a cat, right? And the Sphinx's head, which was based off their king's head, was black, right? Until the current people who live in Egypt, who are either Middle Eastern or white the original black population. Now, their ancestors, not the current people living there. That's not their fault for what their ancestors did. Now, if you still have those same views, then it may be. But Toriyama had a Sphinx cat, and the character Beerus wears the same outfits as multiple Egyptians and Egyptian kings and Egyptian cat gods. So Beerus is the OG black character, not Piccolo. Piccolo's just a green Middle Eastern dude. So let's get into it. Let's go. Beerus is taking a nap because he runs on sleep time.
まだ誰も見たことのない究極の戦士。そいつの名前はスーパーサイヤ人ゴッド。
So Beerus is God.
Mazui, 実にまずいぞ。39年ぶりにあのお方が。
宇宙一強い
破壊神ビルス様が目を覚まされている。破壊神ビルス。
破壊の神様。
地球の諸君とはに。
I can tell Kubota animated this. He animated the 2D scenes in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I can tell it's him because the characters are angular with some curves and the coloring is very glossy. So he animated this and drew the still frames and did the colors, at least most of them. You know, and the problem with this is that the whole point, FY Dragon Ball Super Beerus is a remake of the Dragon Ball Super Battle of Gods arc. And the whole point of the Dragon Ball Super Battle of Gods arc was to reanimate the Dragon Ball Battle of Gods movie, specifically Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods movie, in TV form, because when the movie first came out, you know, most people could not get their hands on it because everybody bought up tickets. It was packed, or they just didn't have enough money to go to the theater. And let's say they did have enough money to go there, hypothetically, they don't got any gas money to drive there, right? So they wanted to make it more affordable. Excuse me, I burped slash belched. For people to see it, and the problem with this is that the animation director wasn't Kubota; it was Yamamoto, right? I mean Yamamura. A lot of these Japanese names sound the same. No offense, a lot of black names sound the same. So hey, even though my name's Seth, Jewish name, so like religious name, anybody can be any race and name Seth, but that's besides the point. Let's get back to the topic. Yamamuro, was at its peak from the mid '90s to late '90s. He was okay from the early 2000s to the 2010s when Battle of Gods was animated, which he was the animation director on. But then he fell off in the 2010s, specifically the early to mid 2010s to the 2020s, and he was relegated to work on Dragon Ball Heroes, which is a commercial which you barely need to animate. Which FY Dragon Ball Heroes is sometimes called Super Dragon Ball Heroes, but basically Yamamuro, fell off, so they want to get Kubota, who is a better animator and is not past his prime like Yamamuro, to animate this. But the problem with this is that the story is completely the same, so there's no point to watch this, which makes Dragon Ball Super Beerus trash. And on top of it, you know, the thing is, I understand the drawings are bad here, and animation's not about drawings. The still frames are. Now, the thing about this, these people know how to draw Dragon Ball Yamamoto's team. And when they were rushed by Yamamoto, who was rushed by Toei to make Dragon Ball Super fast, mainly because the fact, there were new arcs coming out and they had to get to them. And they didn't want to lose viewers because when Resurrection F came out, they wanted Resurrection F to get animated in TV form slightly worse with some story tweaks, right? But they did not want it to be this bad that people were uninterested in the franchise. So they were rushed to get this out before F came out. Then when that came out after Battle of Gods, people weren't interested in the Battle of Gods art slash movie, right? But as an example, this drawing of Pain is ugly. There's good animation. FY animation is about movement. These people know how to draw Naruto, but the reason Pain is ugly is because he's ugly inside and out, even though Pain, is a corpse of a dude with a girlfriend being controlled by a living corpse of that dead dude's friend. But that's besides the point. As a dead dude, Pain, who is Yaiko, being controlled by Nagato, who is nicknamed Pain too, was not ugly on the outside, but when Nagato slash Pain took over Yaiko slash Pain's corpse, he became ugly inside and out. So this is a stylistic choice. So you can understand the story better, but Naruto don't look ugly when he fought Pain in the Nine Tails form. But speaking of stuff we've already seen, like in GT, adult Gotenks never appear because there was no need. Because when Goten and Trunks fuse, their key fuses slash energy fuses, right? And it's stronger. That's energy in Gotenks. But, in GT, Baby, Super 17, and Omega Shenron, who were the main villains of GT, which Goten and Trunks fought in GT, beat them up before they could fuse most of the time. And when they had a chance against Baby, you know, Goten slash Goten Trunks wasn't strong enough to beat him, but Goku, with all the power of the Z Fires, including Goten slash Goten and Trunks, was. So they gave their energy to Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So that's Goku's SSJ4 form, which is a form that makes Goku stronger, who's already stronger than Gotenks in base, plus Gotenks' energy slash Goten and Trunks' energy. So there was no need to see him. The thing about Dragon Ball Super Superheroes manga is that we actually see adult Gotenks, and adult Gotenks is way more marketable because he's never really been seen before aside from Dragon Ball Heroes. Whereas Beerus, you can't remarket Beerus. Beerus is in everything already. And I would appreciate the animation being better if they got Kubota the first time.
さようなら。このままでは地球はなくなってしまう。僕はね、眠いんだよ。待てー！地球が溢れるのにこのままじっとなんかしてられんかよ。破壊神だと。ふざけるのもいい加減にしやがれ。
I'm mad because Vegeta, when he went Super Saiyan 2, his pupils was still there, and the whole point is in the My Bulma scene, he's supposed to be angry, so why does he still have pupils? Bro should be looking like, he should have the Broly from DBZ pupils. Okay, his pupils went away, scratch that. Okay, this is good.
力を見せてやろう。
5人の正しい心を持つサイヤ人が手をつないで1人のサイヤ人に心をつ
Okay, Videl went Super Saiyan, thank God.
なげればその1人は
Even though Videl's human, she does have a half Saiyan, well, technically a quarter Saiyan inside her womb, so, whatever.
サイヤ人の神になるらしいです。
さあ見せてくれ。スーパーサイヤ人ゴッドの力を。
スーパーサイヤ人ゴッド、少なくとも同等の神になったんですよ。
カカロット、この俺が認めた最強のサイヤ人。
続けようぜビルス様。スーパーサイヤ人ゴッドのパワーはまだオラを上に連れてってくれるみてえだからよ。
Super Saiyan God is my second favorite form, as I like the color red, but Dragon Ball Super Beerus is trash because they did not get the Battle of Guards arc reanimated the first time, so this is a waste of money for Toei, Kubota, Goat Animator. I'll only watch this when I can get it for free, through being an anime Straw Hat Pirate for the Kubota scenes. Maybe one of my family members has a Hulu subscription, who knows, but I'm not gonna go on my way to watch this. But peace out.